Good evening and welcome to another episode of Boss Talk. I'm your host, Beverly Brister, and I am so delighted to reconnect with my guests today, Kim and Tony Morrow, who are the proud owners of Green Living Candles. Now, the idea of their business was born out of some very challenging times that they had, such as unemployment, the pandemic, and an economic shift. But their business has endured and it's grown to service customers all over the United States and 8 countries. And I am just so happy to bring to you my guests. And we have a funny story to tell you how we met, Kim and Tony Morrow.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Beverly.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Now, Kim, we have a funny story how we met. It was actually in your Uber.
There was.
So I was in San Diego and I was getting an Uber to go back to the airport, and Kim was my Uber driver, and she was so sweet and so nice. And we got to talking. She's telling me about her business and how she got started, and she has such an incredible story, her and her husband. And I'm like, oh my God, you have to be on my show. And so that's how we got here. So please take us back to that time. I think it was a little bit before the pandemic when you had some circumstances that kind of ushered you into entrepreneurship.
So March 15th, 2020, my husband and I both lost our job the same day. And we sat around like everybody did for a few months, and we were watching a show. I don't remember what the show was at the time, but he said, how will you mark your time? And we kind of looked at each other and thought, maybe we come up with something that we can put our future more in our own control going forward. So I had suffered a traumatic brain injury in 2011 that left me with chronic migraines. And so chemicals in our house is non-existent. And therefore, store-bought candles were non-existent because they are, so toxic in nature. So I had made candles with my daughter-in-law about almost 13 years ago now. And so I had the basics down, and I talked to Tony about it. And at first he went, I don't know about making candles. I love candles, but I'm not sure about making them. So I bought a DIY kit off of Amazon with little tins, and he made them all. And
they all stunk.
They smelled
horrible. That wasn't the story.
All chemical scents, but he at least got the idea down and really liked it. So we were in a health food store, and I saw this book called Green Living, and we had nothing but time. And so I started looking through the book and making adjustments in the house. And then I saw all these non-toxic things that you could do. Of course, they don't tell you how to do it. So we both decided that that's what we were going to embark on, is developing and creating a non-toxic candle that was also sustainable, because I get beautiful candle vessels, and I don't want to throw them away because they're so beautiful. And so we came up with the idea of refilling them so that we're reducing the carbon footprint by keeping the glass out of the landfill, and it allows people to continue to enjoy their candle.
Well, actually, babe, it was more the empty vessel you got from your daughter-in-law that you could never throw away.
Right.
Created it.
Yeah.
So that's when we started to think, why I was wondering why she's holding on to this empty vessel for 12 years. And that's when the wheel started thinking. We started thinking well, why don't we refill?
Yeah. Other people probably, feel
same
the same
situation
way.
She was in, holding on to these pretty vessels that they don't want to throw into the landfill. So,
and my husband always tells, our customers or potential customers that, there's only so many things you can put cotton balls and Q-tips in. You're still going to need a candle.
Wow. Wow. And that's pretty much how your sustainability part of your business kind of came about. It's like you held on to something for 12 years.
Yeah.
Yes, it moved many times with me.
Yeah. Recycling a good way. So
Yes.
why candles as opposed to any other product that, that has chemicals and toxins in it?
I think it was your familiarity because when she did soaps and candles, and again, we cut out the soaps part of it because the place was entirely too small, and there's so much products that goes into soaps, and we just focused on it. Just kind of went seemingly without a hesitation with the candles. It was just something that we both felt like, wow, this is really, not only was it cool to make, and it's like a science. And in the first few, they were horrible. I mean, but it was something to do. It was filling time. And then we're like, okay, I'm not going to let this thing beat us. So now you're saying that you don't smell anything. So then we went back to the drawing board, and it just kind of just snowballed from there on the curiosity. Let's see, first of all, if we can have a family member say, actually, that smells pretty good. And so it just kind of took a life of its own, really.
Yeah. And there's a lot that goes into and a lot that goes into making a candle, but finding ingredients that are
Healthy,
free of toxins is very difficult and took months. But I think another reason that we focused on candles is, especially during the pandemic, people were stuck at home.
Yeah.
They weren't working, or they were now working remotely.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for us, candles at the end of the day create such a peace.
Sure.
And, you have that scent that is very pleasing, very healthy, but there's just something about lighting a candle that just kind of sets the tone. The day is over and now I can relax. So
yeah, definitely.
That's how.
I mean, a lot of our customers, have spoken to us, especially in the very beginning, how the candles changed. I had no idea the levels of, again, a healthy candle that most of a store-bought one, how it really helped them during that time.
Right.
How important it was to have that piece of, in a crazy chaotic time, like, your fragrance were very inviting. It's very, remember to particular, I'm thinking about the one young lady who started crying and wrote this long letter about how she gets in her house and she started crying. It made her think about her family. And it was just really like, wow, we had no idea, how beautiful it was. Yeah. Wow.
So your business, you took off during the pandemic then, while we're all kind of quarantined, right?
Yes, it was interesting because our first vessels were just a clear glass and like your normal store-bought candle. And we invested everything we had. We had this huge industrial shelf in our living room that had thousands of candles on it. And I got on and I applied to all the farmers markets and waiting for a reply. And the reply I got was all the farmers markets shut down. So we were looking at our savings on the industrial shelf with nowhere to sell them. But, hindsight, looking back, it was really a blessing that time period happened because Tony got the idea. He said, why don't we send some of these out to our family and friends, have them burn them? So I did a little post-it on the inside and I said, answer these 3 questions after you burn the candle. Can you smell it? Is it too strong? Is it too light? And we got amazing feedback.
Wow.
One of them was that I cut the wicks too short and they couldn't light them. So, we
trial and error.
Learned. So we took advantage of that downtime. And once the markets opened and we got in, we took off just incredibly. Wow.
And you touch on something that's extremely important that a lot of businesses miss, which is getting feedback on your product or service. That's a key point, that you don't really know the true barometer of you're doing it right or not quite so until you get that feedback.
Yes.
So how would you say it's shaped your business today?
Oh, tremendously. I can tell you that if we did not have that down period of time where we sent those candles out, we probably would have been out of business the first day, because sadly, a lot of people will not give you feedback. They'll buy the candle, they didn't like it, they throw it away, or they never come back. And so that feedback for us saved our business.
Wow.
It truly did, because there were significant issues that, again, if I would have bought a candle and couldn't smell it, I just would have never bought another one. I probably wouldn't have called the company and said, I can't smell this candle that I just bought. So
Wow.
you have to have some thick skin sometimes to welcome constructive criticism, because that only helps us to be better.
Right. Absolutely. That is so key. So let's show everyone some of the products that you have, and you can kind of tell us what they are and
So
what
this
type.
is our Elite 11.5 ounce, and it has a raised etching of lotus flower. I originally thought it was sunflowers because those are my favorite. And I had a customer quickly put me in my place that those are not sunflowers, those are lotus flowers. So I still believe they're sunflowers, but they're actually lotus flowers.
There's some type of flower.
Yeah.
Everyone wins.
Yeah. And this is our 4-wick tin. It's very sleek. And it's the glow on this candle is absolutely beautiful with the 4 wicks.
I can imagine. Just kind of, I think of like the sun setting on over the bay in San Diego.
Yes, exactly. And this is our Elite matte black, which is the same vessel as the rose gold, etched in the lotus flower. And that's a very big seller for us.
Again, listen to our customers. They informed us, which we didn't really realize, that they could see our flame through the candle. So at night when you're having a glass of wine, they actually saw the flame through the vessel. And lo and behold, they were right.
They were right. Yeah. And that's true of the rose gold, all of our vessels. The rose gold and the black, as the flame, as the candle burns down, you can see the flame through it, which is really beautiful. This is our Elite 20 ounce, and this has a raised chevron design.
It's beautiful.
And it's a 2-wick candle. And these are our reed diffusers, both in matte black and rose gold, that come with 4 reeds. And all of our products come custom boxed, even though they're not all showing on the photos there. And all of our products are refillable, including the reed diffusers.
Oh, wow. Right. That's great. And I love the fact that you have this refillable program. And they can, just like you can hold on to the tin, and then you can order your refill, and you're helping out the environment at the same time. It's all such a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Yes. We also have a subscription program for those who are busy and they forget, so they can have it, sent to them directly. So we also offer that as well.
Wonderful. Wow. And now we know that the walk of a entrepreneur is not easy, and it's not for everyone, but I feel the love radiating from the both of you with the candles. Would you say it's a calling more so than a role for you?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, there's no question. This is definitely a direction from the man above who led us to this point. I mean, we pinch ourselves every day that we're doing this, and it was all stemmed from I wouldn't say boredom. It was a book that she inspired, and we just count our blessings every day. Like, I cannot believe we are still doing this, and it's not even that we're still doing it. It moves. I've had people, when we first started, a couple gentlemen, thought we were just trying to sell them a candle and see you later. And our motto in the beginning was, listen, we know that these candles are not cheap. that's what the craftsmanship comes in with our handmade, you know, exact opposite of high quality, exact opposite of store-bought candles, what we say, because the wicks are primed in vegetable wax. Store-bought ones are primed in paraffin lead. Very, very toxic. So you don't necessarily have to buy our products, we say. But please, by all means, this is what we said without fail, do your research on store-bought candles. So, you know, of course, a couple of guys, you know, and they actually Googled it, and he came back and he apologized because of the way he became confrontational. I had no idea. And that's what it was. You know what the refreshing thing about this, Beverly, is when we first started, you know, a lot of people would go, oh, I know, I didn't have no idea. But now we say that same thing and people go, I know. Well, in the beginning, they didn't know. Now, yes, I've heard, you know, so that's very refreshing. 4 years later, they're saying, oh my gosh, you're right. I've been, you know, so it's getting out there.
Yeah. So it's like you're planting the seeds and you're educating.
Yes.
They're learning and they're coming back, and it keeps your business sustainable as well as the business sustainable.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yes. And it's, you know, it's very important for us to educate our customers. It's, you know, I almost refer to this business as my new healthcare, because I come from a healthcare background. And so, you know, it blesses us to know that all over the US and in 8 countries now, our candles are burning in people's homes. It's so surreal. It really is surreal.
And like, imagine getting the love notes and the feedback from those in other countries, and it's just like, I gotta frame this. I can't.
Yeah, it is. It's so exciting. Then, you know, when, you know, someone says, "Oh, I'm gonna take this to Saudi Arabia," and we're like, "Oh my gosh," or Korea or Switzerland. We're like, "Oh," you know. So it's
Japan,
not Japan,
China.
It just goes on, and we just like so pinch ourselves, like Australia, New Zealand,
New Zealand.
Yeah. Anyway, so
beautiful. Wow. And it's like, you know, you could talk to some of the stores out there. I don't mind traveling there to help to products, right?
That's right. That's right. And speaking of that, we are focused this year in 2024 on expanding our wholesale side of the business. So we are in a couple of resorts currently. One here in San Diego, over in Coronado, actually, and then one in Florida. And you know, that's really our path this year.
And again, that was something we never. Again, our whole goal just to have someone burn a candle. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
You know, it's in a home in San Diego. That was enough for us. But then through our trials and being out there and listening to the public, you got to listen to, like, you know, some is good, some is bad, but you know, the light came on with us is when a couple of customers said, you know, these really are pretty. They should be in hotels. And we go, what? Okay. But then the confidence came, and then we would go confidently to these hotels. And if you don't believe in your product, no one will. So you have to go in with that confidence, and lo and behold, here we are in a couple hotels. So it was, again, feedback from our customers.
Beautiful. And I tell you, that just takes me into some boss tips that I'm, you know, we can share with some of the audience. I usually ask for like about 3 boss tips that you can share with those that are wanting to walk this walk of entrepreneurship, and in particular, have retail products. So I know feedback is definitely one of them. What are some other tips that you can share?
As an entrepreneur, you have to be able to pivot. When the economy fluctuates, when you know, the seasons change, right after Christmas, when everybody is not spending money and they're paying off holiday debt.
Yeah.
So pivoting is crucial. We kind of touched on believing in your product, standing behind your product. And then the other thing that's probably one of the most important and probably one of the most difficult is doing cold calling or speaking to someone on the phone and hearing either a no or, maybe down the road. Those,
Mm-hmm.
just have to let those fly off. And quite honestly, we don't accept no. We just kind of look at it as now is not the best time. And so we'll give it, a month or two, and then we'll follow up. And especially in the hotel and resort arenas, they're led by forecasters, financial forecasters. And so if their numbers are down, they're not going to be bringing in a whole lot of things to sell in that resort. So that's not going to stay forever. And so we just
circle back around.
We circle back around. And that's what you have to do. If you take a no, you will be discouraged right off the bat. Just look at it as maybe later. And be consistent in your follow-up. That's also very important.
Wow, that is definitely major boss tips right there. So for anyone who missed any part of that, you could just play this back after today. Definitely important tips to take with you for going into retail or any business in general. Excellent. So Kim and Tony, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your baby with us. And please share with us how we can find you online and support.
So our website is greenlivingcandles.com, and our Instagram is at greenlivingcandlessd.
Okay, great, amazing. And again, thank you so much. And I already have your site bookmarked. I'm going to be looking for it I think it's in the Coronado, right? In San Diego?
Yes.
It's in the Hotel Del. The candles, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the Hotel Del. They're in established 1888, the store. And we need to send you a candle, which we will be doing next week.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for being part of the show and sharing your baby with us and your expertise. And we love that your business is sustainable and that you're bettering the environment and bettering our lives as well. And we want to definitely support you, and hopefully anyone else watching will do the same. So thank you for coming on the show, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Thank you for having us, Beverly.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
Take care.